What's going on, family? You guys are so amazing. Listen, I've created a brand new podcast. As a matter of fact, I just created it tonight. I'm speaking to married couples that's in ministry, especially during this pandemic. We're asking the critical question, why is it important for married couples to work together, especially in a time like this? I found some amazing couples. I'm going to speak to you tonight. It's not only going to speak life, but speak reality as well. I believe that you're going to be blessed by the words that they're going to pour out. I want you to tune in. Get a pen and a piece of paper. Take some notes, because this is going to be a great interview about man and woman in ministry being transparent.
I work with my wife in ministry, or how do we work together in ministry? Three keys. There's could be several of them, but I think one of them is respecting you for who God has called you to be.
Okay.
Allowing you to be who God has called you to be, and not into the actual template of what folks say a first lady would be, especially respecting you and honoring you as a preacher, an ordained preacher. So I think number one is to love you as my wife and not as the first lady. And so I think as I honor you and love you as Valencia versus the first lady, then I not only encourage you to be all that God has called you to be, but it brings me to another level of ministry that I can be, loving you authentically and in a genuine manner.
Right. Well, I think a prerequisite to that would be, years ago, remember, I asked the Lord, why were women a second thought in your mind? I asked God, why were women a second thought in your mind? And it led me to study to find out that in Genesis 1:25, 26, 27, that we weren't a second thought, that we were created, our spirit mans were created at the same time that a man's spirit man. He created them both male and female at the same time. And then in Genesis 5:2, it says, in the day that they were created, he called their name Adam. So that gave me solace to know that I wasn't a second thought in the mind of God, which gave me the courage to help want to lead with you and not behind you. That we are doing this thing together and not opposite to one another. So I think that was a prerequisite to your number one.
Yeah. And I would also say that, now I don't put you behind me, but if
Right.
you will get behind me.
What?
You do have my back.
Yes.
And then,
Patting and pushing.
Yes, patting and pushing, or in front of me, or beside me. And then thirdly, and I think lastly, I think that, and this is where we keep the integrity, and from an ethical standpoint, dealing from a ministry with both men and women,
Right.
In the position of power and authority that I have as a pastor. Not to say that women are not pastors as well, because there are women who have to deal with that as well as the opposite sex. And so I will say that we do have safety mechanisms in place.
Yes, we do.
I don't counsel with the opposite sex by myself.
Right.
You're
And
gonna
sometimes
be in there,
children, you don't
and
do
even
that.
children, I'll bring
Right.
you in there. And then there are some things as women, and I don't know how other leaders or how other pastors lead a congregation, but the Lord has led me that there are some things that the women that I lead and that I pastor that I should not hear about or know about.
Right.
And so there are some issues of the opposite sex that I will refer them to you or another trusted leader, because I have to minister to these women and make sure that there's not things going through my mind or things that they have shared that would make them feel uncomfortable from
Right.
receiving from myself or you. So I think that us having safety mechanisms, I think that has blessed us ministry-wise, and it's
Yes.
definitely kept me out of trouble. And even with the Facebook now, the social media has gone crazy.
Right.
So we even have a safety mechanism if somebody's trying to friend request us.
Right.
We'll ask, do you know this person?
Right,
Do
right,
I know
right.
that person? Because we don't want the devil to go crazy
Right.
with something unethical, even in social media. So I just thank God, as I said earlier, I thank God that I learned from a young age that I pulled you closer to me, as well as our children. And then, if I would say one more thing, with us working together in ministry, we also have a governor that we utilize to make sure that we don't share something that will put our children in danger or
Right.
make them feel at ease because we've shared something
Right.
about their lives without their permission. So I think we are a reminder of each other to say, hey, we may not want to share that because that's privacy of our children. So I think we work
Right.
together with protecting each other as well as our household. So I believe that is how God has blessed us to work together in ministry.
Yes.